We're going to be exploring some principles of the dynamics of separation and flowing as one intuitively and through improvisation. The principle of word movement and heart energy flowing as one is what we're going to be exploring. And the power that language has to the one reality, to explore the dynamics of the separation and the one. And hoping you enjoy the process we go through today of exploring that. So,
Great. That was a great way of
mm,
introducing this. I'm really excited about sharing this with you, George, and everyone else. Um,
mm.
hmm. So how about we start with the exploration of how to recognize the creative reality of one expression.
How to recognize the creative reality of one expression.
So that is like fundamental. It's like a fundamental principle of embodiment as the one heart, because embodiment as the one heart is basically universal love that is cosmic consciousness when it is embodied. So as it flows through individual bodies, it is the expression of the same flow of life, the same aliveness. However, it comes out in completely diverse ways.
Mm,
And then there's ways to learn how to recognize when that energy is present and when it's not present. So, so Shall we start with that? So George and I are just going to go into that process of improvising spontaneously through the heart as one consciousness. That's what it is, literally, isn't it? So we're starting with the biggest thing first. It's kind of the biggest thing, isn't it?
mm.
Or the biggest not thing.
It's in the process of doing this. It is all just taking away. Is it? Am I right in thinking it's taking away mind and reason and thinking about it, and you just improvise and let's see what flows out and allow your. I'm even doing it now when I.
Yeah, yeah,
Put it
yeah.
through voice, words, language, and physicality and form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. That is exactly how it is. So basically, that brings us already to language. So if language is aligned to not being separate, then it invites that universal energy to come in and to come through the body and be tangibly felt through the body.
It's just a funny
Um,
thing how language, you can't really just reason and intellectualize and use language to describe this oneness, this connectionness, and but but sound and vibration and sound and language on a level of just allowing it to flow out does allow you to tap into an embodied feeling of it. It doesn't have to necessarily be sentences of flowing poetry. It can just be words that pop up because you're not trying to describe it, you're trying to feel and embody it. Am I right in thinking that?
yeah, exactly. And also that part of our brains that is logical and rational is not very good at, or actually, I would even say it can't experience connection in and of itself. So
Mm,
if you're just trying to explain to that part what it is, it's actually not going to understand it.
mm,
So somehow there has to be a bridge that is being built to the part of our brain that can perceive connection and that can experience connection even to the depths of oneness, which is perfectly our every human's evolutionary potential. It's just that we don't know about it and we don't. Okay, so let's just explore that going into the difference of talking about to actually being that oneness and actually voicing as that oneness instead of talking about it. In and as the light of everything. Boundless perception.
Expansion. Isness.
Being freedom embodied, being what is.
Heart opening. Grasping. Yet not.
Grasping yet not grasping. Sensing every cell in the body. Sensing the transparency of the body. The mystery of the body. The being one with and as light that the body is. Light being conscious, light being love, light being you, light being me. Still.
Sometimes I find a lot of my movements is just is like I'm overflowing from the heart because the
Yeah, yeah,
feeling
yeah.
feeling I feel is like love basically, which is in the heart center, and it
Mm.
overflowing, and I'm kind of gifting it. So a lot of my movements are seem to be expansive and then come in and out the heart, and then sometimes it's just stillness,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
not it's not you embodying the oneness, it's you are that oneness embodied, and
Yeah.
so movement is happening everywhere, and so sometimes I feel the need to and or this and my fingers and hands, and then sometimes I just melt into being, into isness.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful how you said that. That's exactly how it is. It's the oneness embodied, not I am embodying oneness.
Mm,
That's very much and how it is. And I also really resonate with that gifting from the heart. That energy comes in. It just probably actually looking at it now, doing it with you. I probably don't feel too much need to do that because you already, I mean, I'm just like bouncing it back to you, then you have to bounce it back again. I guess I feel more moved, to bring in movement when I feel I can actually reach
mm,
someone through that in addition to the words, if you see what I mean.
I often find it with this kind of maybe we could try it in a second is standing up.
Yeah, and bringing more movement in just as an example as well, because I also really resonate with this giving from the heart is very important because that energy starts to build up in it.
Mm,
The energy of that oneness expression starts to build up in the heart, and it needs to go somewhere. If it can't move out and transfer somewhere, it's just not. It's like a very positive virus. It's like just as infectious. It's like love infection.
mm,
Yeah. So I feel there is this. My personal sense of this process is that it's like sometimes the more this oneness consciousness is invoked in the space, it starts to literally feel like it's sinks down in the space like a sort of this thick honey blanket, you know, that's kind of like
New blanket. I love that.
th- just kind of just comes in and everything just gets like, oh. And then it moves through the body. I mean, I feel it literally coming through the top of my head. It moves in,
Mm,
and then it moves to someone, you know,
mm.
like that, through my eyes and through my hands and through the heart.
That's what I feel. I think, especially
Yeah.
like I am now, cross-legged, like half lotus. I find it very easy just to else to feel that kind of honey being encapsulated within me and washing over me. And the only kind of motion it kind of expresses then is just, it's just
Mm.
sat down rather than if I'm standing up,
Yeah.
it's much more like expansive and flow through the heart, but it's like in the whole body as you lift up, and it becomes much more of a full. It's interesting how different the two standing and seated could be.
It's much more, and it's just like this, it's just like the body just moves. For me, it feels like literally like the body moves in honey, you know? It's like,
Mhm.
and it's just as much moving in the awareness of what is around it, not from the inside out, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know? It's like,
seated, when you're seated, it's much more of a feeling it, and then when you're, and it's when you're standing, it's like you're swimming in honey soup.
yeah, isn't it? It's like, it's really yummy, isn't it? It's like, yay. It's like super yummy. And you can see when someone moves like that, because it's like it feels so um in tune, you know, it feels so in tune with all your different levels of like physical energies, being energy, cosmic energy, you know, it feels just so in alignment, you know, like just to do like something that's not in alignment, it'll be like it's hard now.
How does this be not in alignment?
It's really hard to presume it now. It's so difficult. Okay, so it's like,
Or like,
you know, it's like that's like the separate, that's like the separate entity presumption moving the body, right? So what happens if we bring the that energy of transmitting heart and flowing through honey soup, if we bring that together with spoken word? Just life as is. Just unmasked, shining.
unmasked softness and embrace and expansion.
No one here, yet everyone here.
Stillness, yet movement, always change, yet change. Stillness and release.
Flowing as life. In the connection of being as is, as full aliveness. No inside, no outside. No inside, no outside.
This, that, all one in the heart.
Love, life, shining, love, life, shining, love, life, shining, embodied as this. The earth, the air, the trees, the walls, the furniture, everything, everything, all inclusive, as transparent vibrancy of life. There's just this transparent vibrancy of life as is. No separation. No separation. None.
Now, cradling now.
All times that has ever been, have ever been, all times that have ever been, that will ever be, all beings that have ever lived, that will ever live. All the constant changing of everything, all the constant uniqueness of everything is you and is me and is. Always already present in and as the body.
Silence in sound, noise in quiet, duality, oneness.
I imagine how the energy magnifies the more people do that. And imagine the whole world doing it. I love imagining the whole world doing it.
The longer you do it and the more people who do it, you do it with, allows you to open up to just expressing freely, like almost when you go to an ecstatic dance or anything. And at the beginning, you're kind of, jazz hands just moving slightly. And at the end, you're just completely all over the place.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of people, connected animals that we are. as we connect with people and as other people do these things, it allows us more space to open up in
Mm,
each.
yeah, yeah, totally. And it will, I mean, when you move in the room with people and when it's not a demonstrative video, there tends to just be things that happen, that nobody
Mm.
plans and that nobody anticipates and that are just completely spontaneous and often very playful and very funny. Mm. But it's interesting. What is your experience of the difference of meditating on consciousness and oneness and embodying it like this? What is that? Do you have any? How would you describe the difference?
The difference between meditation and the practices we're doing here, I find, for me personally, allow me to inquire and understand that sense deeper so that when I then sit in meditation, I know where I'm going. I know
Mm.
what's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I find that I just get this sense that those embodiment practices literally reprogram um, the sense of who we are, in a really powerful way. I mean, meditation does that too, but sometimes there can be this divide, can't there? This divide of this is my experience in meditation, or and I need meditation to be there. And as soon as we go back into embodiment, there is still all the patterning, there's still all this stuff going on, and we haven't got any conscious choice over it. And I find that embodiment practices really help um, to literally reprogram that part of the brain that can't do connection, so it also knows what really is, and then the whole principle of life begins to be lived in a different way. So
Mm,
it's not just like I live all the patterns I live and then I meditate and then I feel peaceful. You know what I mean? But the embodiment just really changes. I mean, that this sort of practice, and I've explored this now for like 20 years and gradually let it evolve, and I cannot even begin to say how much it's changed me, like, in terms of what I consciously was at the beginning of this and what unconsciously now is just like hugely different. And I know it can still become hugely more different, there's still so much more
mm.
to find out. But yeah, it's
I think,
it's closing that gap, between I'm on a retreat and then I go on my coffee break and I'm yappity 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 that person again. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Closing that gap.
Because you can sit in meditation and feel that oneness, and then it's gone. And I think the embodiment as the one heart, the more you do it, the more, I mean, over the 20 years that you've been exploring this, when we talk off these Zoom calls, when we talk face to face, you're doing it all the time. It's like how your being has become expressive and feeling and transferring that feeling of oneness through your expression of voice and the movement. And I feel, similar on my own journey or journey of Venus being water. The more I dive into it, the more of embodied practice that I feel. it allows you to take it into every aspect of your life easier.
Mm.
It allows you to embody it day to day rather than just, when we do it on the mat. I as a yogi, I like to say, it's all yoga. It is all yoga because and there's a lot of people think, for example, yoga is just on the mat and it's just a practice, but it's the
Mm.
embodied essence of movement in life, and it's the same here with embodiment as the one heart. It allows you to take it into life because we're not just trying to do it for an hour every week. Yeah, we're trying to do it as a way of living.
So basically, embodiment as the one heart, it is mutually empowering, open, playful, respectful. It totally respects diversity. It gives space. It's a balance between giving and receiving to allow for an exponential creative opening in all directions. It's not controlling. It's not undermining. It's not presuming separation. So let's presume separation. Let's presume separation. Okay. George, honestly. What's all that about? That embodiment as the one hand. I mean, come on. What you on about?
The you can feel it, just feel it in there's a oneness somewhere that you can like go to and really feel it, feel it.
Oh, you mean like this, like this. The one heart. The one heart is so fully full and beautiful and shining.
Super shining. I think it's super shining times 10.
But you mean it's not just shining, you think it's super shining, do you?
Super shining, yeah. Brighter, brighter, probably.
Is
Super,
it, is it brighter than what I'm suggesting, is it?
probably, yeah, yeah.
Oh, because it's not just like that. It's like the heart shines and George, get out of the way. You are in my limelight. You'll get the spotlight in a minute. Come on, you get it in a minute.
I'm not gonna move because I feel powerful. Feel the one makes me feel powerful, and there's no stopping me. No stopping me. Not you can't stop. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. Nobody here can stop me. I'm all powerful as this one thing. This thing. This oneness.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just trying to help you. I'm just trying to help you, George. I mean, look, the one heart. Look, just look, George. The one heart. Can't you feel it? Are you not open enough to feel it? Are you?
What do you mean? Am I not open enough? Huh? Huh? What are you trying to say, Eva? I'm offended that
Oh.
there's no words to it. I'm just, you've got to believe me or you don't believe me.
Mm.
I feel oneness. So better believe it because it's it's really cool, man. It's really cool. Feels like great, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I feel the flow of that. Like encroaching in on me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so, yeah, it's very interesting. Ooh. Ooh. That was
I think,
very,
you know, I was trying to then be doing it from a place of separation, but because we've tapped into it already, and I was like, when I was doing this, I was like, oh yeah, I can actually feel that, you know, feel the embodied
yeah,
the
yeah,
step,
yeah.
like, and I think what we were trying to convey there is just like trying to think too much about it, trying to put our minds and being like, yeah, it's flow, it's great, and adding loads of ego to it and being like, yeah, I'm better, and
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I am feeling this, or I think that it's great,
Yeah,
or
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
sort of,
going to achieve this oneness which is separate from me already. Like I said at the beginning, like in, it's not your body embodying the one, it's the one embodied through you, because it's this, it's, I think grasping an idea of, is not something that you're it's not an action that you're trying to do, it's a stripping back of a sheet, like stripping back of experience, it's a stripping back and surrendering into it, rather than a goal as to strive towards it, because
exactly.
you don't strive towards
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
which is within you, otherwise you'd be running in all over the place in the wrong direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a classic,
Trying
it's
to
a
find the
it,
one, trying to find the one, where is it, where is it?
yeah, yeah, it's a classic presumption, isn't it, that unity is the goal or oneness is the goal and not that it is what's already here. It's
Mm,
already, it's, there is never no oneness, and it's not real, anything that's not one isn't real. But it was interesting, the dynamics that unfolded were just very much like spiritual ego dynamics, weren't they?
I think that's probably because I'm feeling, recognizing some aspects of that in myself at the moment, so I just amplified it. I was just able to express it. But
But like the spiritual ego aspect.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I think like, because
yeah.
the essence of, like, I am doing this and I'm good at it, and I think when you move through this practice, I think some people probably find it hard in a sense to know what they're meant to feel. But
Mm,
I think it's realizing you're not meant to feel anything. And the way, like I said, like the way we're expressing it is our way of expressing it. You have a personal way of expressing, and I have a personal way of expressing. That I think this form of expression has to gently strip back the levels of I, the levels of ego. And so the way we expressed it then was just heightened ego, but where we didn't really realize it, because we're like, yeah, I feel oneness more than you, and you can't have it. But the whole essence of oneness is that the deeper you get into it, the longer maybe you practice embodiment as a one heart, or meditation and yoga, you experience union and communion with God, with the one heart, with communion with the true nature, with your true nature and your true self. And the ego is the grounding aspect in our reality that allows us to be uh, us on a level. Allows us to be George and Eva, and it's
mm,
important for that. But what I'm trying to tap into is shifting the mind's focus to the sense of that sense of what that sense of oneness, the dissolving. And if you focus your mind, you can almost blind yourself from the separation in which you exist in at the moment. Um, but it's not, again, a blinding, it's more of an unfolding. It's real,
Mm.
it's shifting your focus from ego-centered awareness of duality to unity and communion with your true nature.
I mean, what I hear is that there's still this, there's still this individuation process that is important,
Mm,
the individuation process as the living in that responsibility of the individual mark we make on the cosmos, so to speak.
mhm, definitely.
Um, so that doesn't go away, does it? It's not about bypassing that sense of experience, but I just get, you can say, I guess I can say that I'm Eva from a place of being that identified with one being, or I can say it from the place of being identified with this particular body, mind.
Mm, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very interesting, isn't it? Like individuation and totality and dissolution into totality of existence and
Like,
individual responsibility for your life expression and all of that.
so you can almost experience both at the same time. At the same time, if you just shift your awareness and focus.
Yeah. And then what if they are not separate?
Mm, that's the
What if they are not even separate?
journey it takes you on.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it was good that spiritual ego exaggerating game was really good for me because that reflected some things in me as well, really good, really well. So that is really useful.
I think the spiritual ego is such a big, it's such a big hurdle.
It's gonna happen. It's always gonna want to. There will be always parts of us that will want to own. They don't want to just get dissolved, and they want to own the process. And the more powerful it becomes, the more they kick up, and the
Mm,
more they start to exaggerate. So yeah, so that was really interesting. Wow, we've covered a lot. Yeah, I think we've done everything, not necessarily linearly, but
mm.
that
Well,
never happens with that sort of process.
yeah,
I mean, if it turns linear, then something is quite right.
I think an important thing to note for those who are kind of watching is that the more you practice this, the more you are able to know how it feels, and tapping into that and tapping into the practice of embodiment as the one heart allows you to express and feel one heart embodied within you more. It's just a practice. It's just an essence of using it as a practice rather than just saying, "Yeah, yeah, we're all one. We're all one." You've got to feel it to express it, and that comes with embodied practice. So,
Yeah, and it can complement a lot of different spiritual practices and spiritual paths, and it's very universal.
mm,
Hmm.
thank you so much.
Hmm. Thank you, George. It was really beautiful. I really enjoyed this, and it's very yeah, a really beautiful process and helping me a lot to sort of identify, and
Mm,
find more ways of explaining the details and stuff. So it's really great. I can do that with you. Yeah.
thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.